Specialized work teams are hard at it, redoing all of the greens at Pinehurst No.4. Work began the week of May 19th.
On the second hole, you really start to see the effect of what's going on with the greens here. It's pretty apparent that work needs to be done, and Pinehurst Country Club says they'll get it done.
It's all because brown rough patches materialized. Pinehurst Country Club General Manager Ben Bridgers.
It was a combination. Some of the holes did not have the drainage that maybe we need with the contours on the grass itself or on the greens itself.
The director of golf course management, Bob Farren, said the greens simply have not performed to the level we've experienced on greens that we've planted on other courses in prior years. We've been working on a schedule to resurface them, but the recent issues going back to last fall required us to make the improvements to provide the conditioning levels we're accustomed to.
And I think it was the right move. We had talked to the USGA as well as the NC State University, received some feedback earlier in the year that the greens would come back, and then as they reviewed it again in April, decided it was not going to come back. So it's not what we wanted to do, but I think for the long term, at some point we were going to have to do the greens. So we are sodding them, so it'll be interesting to see how it all works out.
The greens are sliced a few inches deep and removed, much like you would carpeting. Then comes the work of removing the dirt 16 to 18 inches and tamping down the entire area of the green. Watch how the equipment operator carefully shaves the edge of the green. Once the space is ready, a system of crushed rock is brought in. Drainage is seen as key in keeping the greens healthy.
You take out 2 feet of the green grass, basically. Look at the drainage, take a look at that, and put that throughout the green. So wherever the contours of the greens are, you would add the drainage. It's kind of like a French drain underneath the grass.
Farren says the contours of the existing greens are scanned in order to replicate the surface contours prior to excavating 16 inches, to allow for drainage trenches below that and covered with 4 inches of stone, followed by 12 inches of sand-soil mixture as a growing medium. A few greens had slight modification in contours to facilitate drainage. Eventually, the entire green is prepped for the final stage, the laying of brand new sod.
Since someone from the grounds maintenance team to go down to South Georgia, and they've been cultivating the grass that we were going to use to put on the greens. It's not normal, but if we would have seeded the greens, we probably would have closed for at least another 30 to 45 days.
All of this happening with no monetary cost to club members. But there is the obvious concern about what happens when you shut an entire course down for a few months.
It will add a little bit of compaction throughout the membership for the summer, but moving north-south from number 4 to number 7 wasn't. Although 7 is a great test of golf, it's something that we hate to move one championship golf course or one championship to another golf course.
And public play has changed.
We kind of classify it as walk-on play, so anybody that's not a member, a guest of a member, or staying at the resort, we would classify that as walk-on play. And so we right now we put that on pause, and then as well, what we've tried to do is make sure that the member, when we moved about 4,000 resort rounds to other golf courses, and so we've reached out to them and said, hey, here's where your next round's going to be. And some have, given them the opportunity to cancel. But, I think for the most part during the summertime, we have a little bit less compaction anyway, because members are working on the north-south, they're working on the U.S. kids. So it'll be a little bit tight. The wait list is still there, so we're not allowing, we're not just an influx of memberships in.
You have to admit this really is a beautiful course, and the goal here is that Pinehurst Country Club says they'll bring it back to its glory.
I think it was the right move. I mean, I know we may hurt a little bit this summer, but I think we're going to open up August 7th. Most of the members were playing the golf course were fairly unhappy with the conditioning of the greens. So I think I had several emails and several phone calls about, hey, we're very excited that this is happening on course number 4.